Hey up viewers and viewers, my name is Tom. Welcome back to If My Heart Had Wings, episode 16. Now, apologies for the start of the last episode when there was a bit of a weird glitch in the footage. It caused me to have to basically trim out part of my intro in that episode. I don't know what caused that. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. But we're here on our date with Kotori at Windy, the mall and all that. Let's just keep going, ladies and gentlemen. Dunker, you really think it's okay? That's cool, you'll see. Kotori insists. How we always do things for other people, and that's okay, but this time I want to help you. Then let us not hesitate to devour this tastier feast. I got to check on Kotori got the treats. This was only the pastries on tea between the two of them. The check was a pretty sizable amount. Regardless, the milfoil was delicious. As I said this, the taste of the milfoil seemed to flood into Kotori's mouth and cause her eyes to shine brightly. It was so amazingly delicious. It's natural that this place would be popular. Later I'll have to tell my sister Habane about it. As she spoke, her words came out violently. She was completely overjoyed. Now what do you want to do? Shall we get out of Windy and go somewhere a little more quiet? While glancing at the floor guide, Kotori answered, sure, but she was evidently deep in thought. If you made the roof out of glass, the sunlight would flood from the sky. That was an interesting statement to make then. While Kotori was concentrating, I looked to peek up at the blue skies. I should probably say I just took a peek at the blue skies. Looking at this beautiful weather makes me wait to go flying. Should that say want to go flying? Around those clouds over there, a good thermal seems to be forming. Sometime while I was thinking about the forming thermals, I saw that Kotori was watching me. What's up? Nothing. Just that I think you're kinda cool. Just now, as you were looking up at the sky, you're actually more than kinda cool. I see, Dunker. Tomorrow's test, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Yeah, I'll do my best. Everyone has worked so hard for me and this project. An enthusiastic Kotori bobbed her head. So have you picked a place you want to go? Oh yeah, Kotori exclaimed as she looked back at the floor guide. Oh, let's see, I'd like to go check out the game centre, but not yet, something before that. Kotori, with some slight hesitation, muttered. Typical. I think I'd like to try on that blue dress from before. Okay, let's go back to the clothing shop then. For a moment, Kotori, seemingly embarrassed, looked away as she spoke. I quickly turned Kotori's wheelchair around and pushed. It's interesting how throughout this playthrough there have been always those little bits of the localization that are not quite spot on. But fortunately, it's still clear in pretty much every case what they're trying to say. I remember a visual novel, not one that I played on the channel, one I played in my own time. I think it was a Chinese one. I think it was called True Love Confide to the Maple. And I played the English localization of that because obviously I don't speak Mandarin. And good God, generally I sort of understood what was going on in it, but there were times where the English localization was terrible, and there were definitely plenty of scenes where I was like, I don't actually know what they're saying. Really, I really think it would look great on you. Oh, calm down, Howie, we don't have to rush. Come on, let's go, Kotori. Let's shoot off to the clothing store. Before Kotori could change her mind, I rushed to the store. Oh, we're not going to get CG of Kotori in beautiful dress or something. Hey up, welcome home. You're on a date, right? When we returned to Maison du Flying Fish, we saw... Hey, why did you come back? On club days off, you should hang out elsewhere. It's okay, right? I can relax here, you bugger. Why's that, Kotori? Asa grew impatient, drew closer to Kotori. Again, slight localization blip, but hey. It was absolutely a blast. The movie was great. For lunch we had the most delicious ramen, and then... And then what? And then, well... Kotori placed a treasured-looking bag on the table. Oh, did we buy the dress? Agea's eyes saw the brand logo on the bag. Under expression said, oh my. And all that shop went to buy some clothes there. It's expensive, right? No, not really. Agea tilted her head with a puzzled expression. Because she bought from me. That's why. She spent my money. It was a gift. Kotori's face beamed with a smile. Oh man, that's nice. Wow. I heard that. That's not Scouse. I heard that, pet. See here, check it out. Wow, a dress. It's a nice colour. I'm sure you'll look great in it. That's what oh wait, that's not Howie's voice, that's Kotori. That's what Aoi said too, so he bought it for me. For some reason, both Agea and Yoru looked at me. Right, I have to go clean the bathroom, so... if you're talking about the showers, Kaneko is using them right now. Alright, I'll go clean the entranceway. But hey, after the movie, we went to Cafe Flags and had milfoil. I left Katori excitedly retelling our date, unzipped out of the dining hall. Drink water. It's warm where I am. Still summer, as I'm going to record this. Morning. Wait, is this Kotori's inner thoughts or is this Aoi's inner thoughts? Was Aoi in her room again? I'm going to assume it was Aoi. Yeah, today has started. Good morning, Hat. It's still early, so you can sleep some more. Or maybe it is just her inner thoughts. I got out of bed and changed clothes. Oh no, it is. This is Kotori. Okay, it is her inner thoughts. So it'd be kind of... It'd be helpful if it kind of did what games like Danganronpa do, where it actually puts the name of the character, even when it's internal monologue, so that way you know it's definitely this character who you're hearing. And on top of that, it'd be good as well, because Danganronpa games have that thing where spoken dialogue, the text shows up in white, whereas if it's internal monologue, it's in sort of a blue colour. Whereas obviously in this one, the text is always just the same colour, irrespective of whether it's spoken or internal. I made my way over to my wheelchair, which was by my desk. Last night I pulled out my notebook, Isuka's notebook, and was looking over it. From the day I found this notebook, I began to skywatch. Around that time, the idea of flying was only a sort of vague yearning. My name is Kotori. I had issues with my name since I was young. Kotori equals small bird. I joined a ballet group. Every day I would practice jumping higher and higher, however it still wasn't flying. I became very irritated by that fact. After the accident, when I lost the use of both feet, this irritation became even stronger. I felt like a bird to whom had its wings pulled off. Then I found this notebook. The notebook was actually a journal that contained methods on flying that I hadn't naturally saw. It was also written by a girl. The vague desire to fly turned into something much greater. I drew the silhouette of large white wings across my chest. I wanted to try and fly too. I was a finch, I said. I read and reread this notebook as if it were a legendary tale. Yeah, I'm adding sort of words of my own or changing slight aspects of the dialogue there based on whether the localization is accurate or not. Time and time again. That day I created many aspirations, and today they're in my reach. That's what I think. I'm nervous and haven't been able to sleep well. Oh, Agea blinked weakly. Is she in the room with you? Interesting. Also, looking out the window in the room, how high up are we? Is that... Oh no, that's trees. Okay, we're all right. Okay, not gonna lie, I was looking out the window then. For a second I thought we were looking at clouds. I was like, how freaking high up are we? Is this building? No, it's not, it's trees. Gosh, that was confusing for a second. My brain was like doing one of those things where it was seeing something else. Kotori, you're awake. If you don't wake up now, you're going to be late. I'm awake, I'm going soon. Right. As I'm heading out, you be good. Time for the flight. It looks like today is going to be pretty hot again. I complained at the sun. Oh wait, this is now Amane's internal thoughts. The sky was clear with an occasional cloud and some wind. Good, alright, this one is York and this bit rudder. Don't mix them up. This one yoke, this one rudder. Kotori, oh wrong voice. Kotori with a meek expression repeated thine instructions. You shouldn't touch me until instructed, especially during takeoff. It's unbelievably dangerous. Yeah, got it. I was sitting... This should probably be before Kotori, or by Kotori. Okay, so I could only see the back of her head, but I think I could feel her nervousness. Kotori... Habane stopped by. Wait, whose internal thoughts is this now? Because now it's referring to Habane in the third person. So this is no longer Habane. She took the day off and came here. Monet wanted to see a designed cockpit in action, as well as watch the test flight to see if there should be any further modifications. I was going to talk normally if I'm not sure. What is it, Monet? I'm kind of busy right now. Haha, what is this? A bit nervous, are we? The sky is a scary place and it's so high. Mwaha! Habane said in extremely good humour. When I was in your shoes, I just repeatedly wrote the character for person and drank. That worked for me. Kotori looks and glares at Habane. I'm just excited right now. If you're here to make fun of me, then get in the back. Rather than make fun back at Habane, it's better to get even. Back when Habane was scared taking a test flight, Kotori, with a hand... She repeatedly writes the character for man, slapped her in the face. People are surprisingly bad, even Habane. If it's that you want, I'll lend it to you. I'm just going to assume this is Aoi monitoring these characters, and it's his internal thoughts. When she was finished, Kotori gave him... What? Kotori gave him a charm to protect him against traffic accidents? Does it mean Habane gave her... Okay, the localization seems to be breaking down a bit here. What's going on? I think this arrangement works well. Also, who votes the Vinci system radioed? Alright, can you fly? You have a date with Sky, have fun. As they closed the canopy over us, I felt my nervousness grow. This might be Kotori's internal monologue. We checked everything one last time and made for takeoff. Oh no, this is Aoi. I was sitting behind Kotori in the back seat. I tried to catch a glimpse of a moon of. She sat nervous, itching to do something. Do you remember the procedures for takeoff? I practiced them on the simulator 1,000 times. Amane's simulation software had a procedure for takeoff on landings too. Kotori's problem was with her legs, not with her memory. I knew she was quite level-headed and that she could remember all of the procedures. Okay, let's go. I gave the sign we were ready to Agea outside. Agea's and gave the final okay to Arsa. Zavinch was released with a weird little quiver. The gliders that Kotori and I were riding ran down the runway. Whoa, we were up very quick there, weren't we? Jesus. Over mere seconds, the enormous white wings spread open, and we left the ground to soar high in the sky. We have been properly disengaged from the tow line, but you should physically turn and confirm with your eyes. Zavinch pulled the glider, which was attached to the long rope, also connected by the hook to the bottom of the glider. When the disengagement lever is pulled, the hook... I feel like the game has explained this to us already. This is that typical, I think, Japanese VN thing where they repeat certain things. Zavinch is designed to have the glider pass over it. Yeah, we know this already. You don't need to tell us again, game. The tow line has been disconnected. Kotori visually confirms the falling parachute. Excellent, takeoff was a success. So today, for starters, we are going to cover basic operation principles. Alright. I explained the glider's basic operations to Kotori. From normal turning to quick turns, and important points therein. For normal glider flights, there were a few operations that needed to be remembered. The only complicated procedures are during takeoff and landing. After that, there were spins and stalls and other procedures probably, necessary to avoid accidents. If you can't keep a straight head, then you can't do the techniques, but for today, the precautions were all I wanted her to remember. Alright, give it a try. Okay, turning counterclockwise. Kotori squeezed the levers which operates the yoke and rudder. Relaxed, I keep a hand on the yoke. The glider banked to the left and started turning. By sliding inwards, apply more pressure to the rudder. Kotori was applying enough pressure, but it was a habit of mine to give a little more in this instance. Sliding inwards means that the nose is facing outwards of the side you're banking on. Just now the glider was banking left. As we bank left, the nose should face the same side you're banking on to make a turn. If you don't keep the nose of the glider in the direction of travel, you will lose your necessary lifting power and lose altitude. Yeah, I think I get what it means. Kotori pulled back the lever which operated the rudder. The nose of the plane faced inward. When the glider gained equilibrium, it smoothly sailed left. You can really see the yaw string. The yaw string is like the tail of a worm, attached to the front of the canopy that shows the wind flow. It is an extremely simple but useful tool made from a length of woven wool. The yaw string is proof that the glider is turning left or right, yeah? With a single piece of thread, you can know whether the glider is slipping to the outside or inside of a turn. While turning, if you looked at your yaw string, you would see it spinning in perfect equilibrium. If the yaw string is curved, you apply pressure to the rudder in the opposite direction. Okay, let's turn counterclockwise. Alright. While checking the yaw string, Kotori operated the yoke and rudder. The glider sailed left, this time turning smooth in equilibrium. Oh, it went very quiet then. Everyone, I brought ice cream. Come and get it. Oh, Yoru certainly is thoughtful, ain't she? Oh, ice cream? So how's it going? Kotori's still flying. I'm not an expert or anything, but this doesn't seem like her first time. Kotori is amazing. She's even better than me. I'm not going to do the chomp chomp sounds. That girl has had amazing motor reflexes from start, and even more, she quite thoroughly played the simulator too. I know. I kind of saw her by accident. I wanted to know what was going on, so I kind of snuck into the secret base. People don't see the hard-working Kotori like this, but she is cool. That level of enthusiasm has to be embarrassing. But there's no doubt about it, Kotori's a hard-working person. Kotori's aviation training continued. Gradually altitude was lost, however there was still plenty of allowance space to fly. Thanks to Kotori, who gives the altitude loss to a minimum. The glider for an instant glided unsteadily without air. What was that just now? If it's probably a thermal. If we fly in those, we need to go higher. Got it. Kotori flew the glider around and around, searching for good patches of air like they flew in before. Found one. Ah, a thermal. That was the heart of the thermal. When you find one of those, you should use a small turning radius as much as possible. In a lazy figure 8 pattern, Kotori flew as she searched for the heart of the thermal. Suddenly, the glider noticeably gained altitude. I got it. Over there, a thermal. Kotori found the heart, took the yoke and quickly tried to turn it. Whoa! The glider pivoted and turned in a deeper banking angle. As we were turning sideways, we were assaulted with strong G-force. It felt as if all of our blood went to one side, and we could lose consciousness. When you're not controlling the gliders, the unpredictable G-force can be killer. Remember that when you're flying. Hey, when you're circling, be more gentle. Right, sorry. Kotori loosened up on the yoke. When gently banking the glider, G-force becomes less aggressive. So, just now was bad? Well, let's look at the barometer. Even though the glider should be entering the thermal's heart, we were actually falling. When you bank deeply, the falling ratio should also be high. While checking the strength of the core, you should try and find the perfect turning radius. If the turning radius is small and the banking is deep, the glider will lose altitude. I guess because it's a very sharp turn, so you're losing speed. I guess would be the physics of that. Kind of like, you know, if you're driving a car, you have to like really slow down to take a much tighter turn, basically. Furthermore, to reascend, you have to find a strong thermal. Ideal conditions are banking somewhat deeply into the heart of a strong thermal. However, there are limitations. If that's not the case and your banking is shallow, you must reduce altitude. Meaning you have to play it by ear, right? Yeah, but just to stay in the heart of the thermal, it would be stupid to make a quick turn. Even if you are in the heart of a strong upwind, but banking deeply, the glider cannot be carried upwards. Furthermore, the continuous G-force will quickly make you lose consciousness. But soon I want to fly higher. Kotori said this as if she really couldn't wait. Seriously, you're an evil Knievel, aren't you? Regardless, it was a good-looking turn. Really? Although if we saw the yaw strings, the glider was barely gliding. At first glance it wouldn't seem like it, but in reality it was perfectly balanced and a beautiful turn. Altitude loss was also kept at a minimum. You don't have to rush, it's good if you can climb slowly. Okay. Kotori replied merrily, then banked appropriately to take the glider higher. They're flying around and... oh wait, wrong voice. They're flying around and round. They caught a thermal. Wow, they're that high, it's scary just looking at it. They must be thrilled with this first flight. I wonder can Aoi hear us any? Votigear? Aren't you flying too high? If we found a grey thermal, it's okay, we're following it. That's a great book, Kotori isn't being unreasonable. It's just like I said it's fine. Okay, I understand. As the concentrated voice came back, Kotori, who was riding the thermal, did so with complete concentration. I saw the scenery on the ground fading away and was honestly surprised. I've practically nothing left to teach. Finally, all basic operations are practically perfect. To say it wasn't she-fast wouldn't be true. What? Not entirely sure what they're trying to say there. No matter how many times you use a simulator and real flying are not the same thing. But Kotori quickly came to trust her intuition and was able to find the unseen thermals and takes the glider higher. Flying in a glider at night, the sense of flying in a glider might be the most amazing thing ever. We touched the sky. While gazing at the other side of the canopy, Kotori muttered. The glider steadily climbed higher. This thermal is a good one, and quite strong. There's quite a bit of crosswinds right now. Oh wait, that's not his voice. There's quite a bit of crosswinds right now, we should be careful, I explained as Kotori looked down. Wow, we are really high up. The scenery from above ground is hazy and somewhat surreal. That's because we are twice as high up as Tokyo Tower right now. Right now our altitude is approximately 700 meters. It was a good thermal, and it was Kotori's first time at this height. Windmill Hill kind of has a shape, doesn't it? Circular, like a crescent moon. Windmill Hill is almost directly below us. At this height we had a near unbroken view. The hill ran semicircular alongside the lake. As that shape stops the wind blowing across the sea, the force builds and runs up the hill, causing the windmills to turn. Huh. The wind comes off the lake and stops where the half-moon lake ends. When that happens, the collective strength of the wind runs up the hill. The windmills were built there because of this phenomenon. This is amazing, the feeling of flying. Kotori sighed softly for a moment. This is the feeling of freedom. And my legs, it's like I've forgotten all about them. Even though we're flying in the air, Kotori doesn't need her legs. Only times like these could I truly seem to feel free. I knew it. Kotori, rather than letting somebody fly you, flying yourself suits you. Kotori thought about it a little before answering. That might be so. My name is Kotori, right? For no particular reason, ever since I was young, I've always wanted to fly. I think I'm flying now. Well, you kind of are, but yeah. Who would have thought dreams can come true? My father named me. His hobby was photography. He would often take pictures of the sky. On the day I was born, the skies were a bright blue, so he named me Aoi, or so he says. Really? So this place is like your hometown? So they're kind of the same. Yeah, I knew Aoi meant blue. Did I mention that much earlier in the series? I feel like maybe I did, but then again maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm misremembering. During that embarrassing exchange we laughed as we answered. Now that you mention it, when I heard how I got my name, it was a clear blue day too. It had that special feel to it. But after that I learned that character for my colour Aoi actually refers to a greenish blue colour. It kind of disappointed me. The feeling of being high in the heavens, constantly flying around. Being in the glider unbound by gravity, soaring the sky, created an odd feeling. I saw Kotori's profile in the canopy, she gazed out, and I thought she looked like a being from a faraway place. That was negligent. Always pay attention to the conditions of the atmospheric pressure, don't forget. If you don't, you'll fall. Understood. With a strong answer, Kotori grips the yoke firmly. Oh, that's it for the flight, I guess. We just finished cleaning up over here. Good job everyone, that's a day. We flew until sunset and then left the field. Between maintained and rest days, we got in 5 flights. That was one really long flight today. There certainly were some great thermals. It was the ideal soaring conditions. The best way to progress is to fly as much as possible. Because the flying times are restricted, it's best to be in the sky as long as possible. Today Kotori certainly improved, even in her takeoff on landings. Kotori really is an amazing person, you can't say that about everyone. Habane was quite impressed with today. All thanks go to the cockpit that Habane designed for us. I am glad it helped. Where did you go? If you're talking about her, she left to daydream rather than help clean up. I also stepped out for a minute untold us. I thought that was Yoru who just said that, but sure. I just came to say we're done for the day. Okay. When we left our secret base, Kotori momentarily gazed into the evening sky. What were you doing? My body felt like it started to shake, as if it were still in the sky. This is the top of the hill. From here, if you looked just right, it could seem like you were in the air flying. Even though this was your first flight, you got a considerable amount of fly time in. Kotori looked up into the sky. She seemed to yearn completely for the sky. What should I do? From tomorrow, nothing will be the same again. It's great to be able to experience such amazing things, but I think my head will always be in the clouds now. I was just like that on the day of my first flight. Living with your feet on the ground even felt annoying. It would be amazing if I could fly again, and again, and again. And with that goal in mind, I spent a whole year preparing. Right. The sky was a daytime blue, full of countless twinkling stars. So in other words, it wasn't a daytime blue then. It was a nighttime blue, I think is what you mean. Kotori's eyes shone like the stars as she gazed in love at the sky. Chapter transition? Yeah. Just gulping more water. Got to stay hydrated in this warm weather, ladies and gentlemen. A day near the end of August. At the start of summer vacation, near half of Maison du Flying Fish's residents leave. It has been a while since the building has been crowded. The vegetables are all cut. All finished here too. The water for the something apparently is boiling. We don't know what though. What should I do next? Could you throw those in the oven to bake? Let's see for how long. Everyone was asking for my instructions all at once. I feel like a master chef. Put the cut vegetables into the boiling water. Cover the pot and let it boil for around 10 minutes. Wait a minute on baking that. Bake it together with these... Oh god, there. Bubbles from my water coming up my throat. While snapping instructions on the fly, I myself also had a job to do. It had been a long time since I prepared dinner for such a large number of people. What can I do to help? Hey Marne, could you come over here and check out the TV? Because of Marne plus knife equals dangerous. Take care of her, that should say Howie, not him. Morning, Marne, shall we go over there and watch some TV? But I wanted to help. Even though she really did want to help, Kaneko dragged Amane in front of the TV. People and food. As the As the heat on fire from the oven and stove. Mixed together, it seemed like a war zone. Why does it suddenly feel like this? They're finally living together, Yoru. It's so exciting. I guess. I don't see how things are really going to change. I mean, you always sleep in my room anyways, right? Today's your first day back at the Soaring Club's dormitory. However, the truth is that nothing really changes that much. Agea still stays at her family home, and Amane still comes here for free food. This is what dorm life is about. But just like last year, there is an early morning watch duty. By the end of summer, a morning glory will make an appearance. It won't be strange for it to appear any time now. To be on watch duty meant that you had to stay overnight at the secret base, on watch for even the slightest change in weather. I prepared dinner earlier than usual to try taking advantage of having everyone gathered. Immediately from tonight we will have a meeting. Alright, finished. Oh wow, there's so much delicious looking food. Come over here and help me bring it to the table. Sure. The food that everyone prepared was carried to the table. The sight of so much hearty food on platters seemed to put everyone in good spirits. It has been a while since I've had Aoi's cooking. I'm starving, can we start eating, you buggers? Before we start, the leader has a few things she'd like to say. Kotori cleared her throat with authority. Hello everyone, I'd like to thank everyone for their hard work throughout the year. More and more our goal and our dream draws close, the day we fly alongside a morning glory. This season we have but one chance. Fail will not be tolerated. Until summer is finished, let's stay on fire and without fail make no mistakes. That was a long one, Kotori. I gotta eat. I'm not a member of the Soaring Club, so is it okay if I started eating? You guys. Come on, seriously, the food's gonna get cold. There's so much delicious looking food, eat until your heart's content and call out your fighting spirit. Sure. Let's eat. At once, everyone scrambled to take food. The feeding frenzy began. Seriously, the mood was just killed. Valve, when you go out with all guns blazing, it's hard to keep the momentum up till the end. No, it's not like that at all. It's like I'm the last soldier standing. I'm not sure exactly what I'm off to fight, but I'm going in with a great fighting spirit. Since I flew the gliders the other day, my motivation has been boundless, but wasted. Over the past few days from dawn till dusk, I've been practicing flying. Again, I feel like this could be Kotori's internal monologue, not Awie's, but I'm not sure. I've kept my exhaustion hidden, however my improvement in flying is physically visible. Very soon, we're going to be able to see that beautiful looking cloud. That reminds me, Asa, it was you saw Cloud from Windmill Hill, right? Yes, it was absolutely beautiful, pet. The cloud and the sky, the gluder, what the hell's a gluder, Red? The glider flew in too. What could be cooler than that? That was close to morning glory, but I still wouldn't call it so. Habane makes a beautiful mess eating as she speaks. Hey Mane, are you going to eat or are you going to talk? Well, that was a sign that a true morning glory would come this year. Today we heard that last year's cloud sighting could very well be a sign that this year a real morning glory was indeed coming. This story goes back a few hours ago. This data is the basis of my reasoning. The computer screen shows the variety of data types Habane referred to. And this all means... It means that at the end of summer there is an extremely high possibility that a morning glory will form. Habane's words brought a quiet tension and excitement to the room. I listened to Habane's speech and believed it was sound logic. Is it alright if I ask a question? Shoot. When you say there is a high possibility, how high are you talking about? Right, so high possibility, we cannot say in exact numbers, but a rough calculation would be around 30%. How is that possibility a high possibility? Completely not happening is the regular stat, considering that wouldn't you agree that 30% is pretty high? That was an awkward sentence, but sure. If it's just as Yoru said, the phenomenon known as a morning glory occurs but once in a few decades. If that's the case, that's rather amazing, isn't it? Even last year's small sighting was an exceptional appearance. Last year, Aoi and I flew and saw this cloud, and it wasn't even close to being called a morning glory. Okay, so what was it? Just a regular cloud. But still, this is the basis for my reasoning. Here, take a gander at these. Oh, jeez. Hope some of you don't get motion sickness or epilepsy. Habane took the mouse and brought up more data to the screen. We just received this project data from the newly constructed windmills. This data showed detailed weather data around the area collected over the past few months. Habane analysed the numbers and just recently came to new conclusions. The current display showed two types of data. Here is the data from last year's cloud sighting, and this here is from 26th of August, 28 years ago. From August 26, 28 years ago, a completely unknown date. The data taken from two completely different dates truly resemble each other. They really do look alike, don't they? But what does it mean? We do not have complete records, but last year's wannabe Morning Glory's data resembles this here. Meaning? Meaning in summary, during the next year, following the wannabe clouds formation, a true Morning Glory was formed. So it's possible to say that a true formation could happen this year too, right? She nodded. Our eyes devoured the information on the screen. At first glance, no matter how much we stared at them, the list of numbers were meaningless, and we could make no sense of them, but Habane's speech won us over. This data reflected 1 year, and it finally was starting to look significant. So they're saying that if a morning glory does not appear by the end of the summer, then it's not going to come at all. There's practically no doubt about it. As I explained earlier, the conditions involved to form such a cloud. The cool air runs off of the lake and is blocked by the hill. The moisture flows into the atmosphere and... I understand that part, but... Habane began once again to explain things from the beginning. Kotori held back her confusion. Sometimes such complex explanations just weren't good to hear. Sometimes you just need to know the principles and the result. Which is all the more reason. As it paid back for that day, I could not deny a fearless smile forming on my mouth. Habane's explanation. Oh, sorry, I was getting more gas coming up my throat then from my drink. Habane's explanation was the spark that set fire to my motivation. I was ready for action. The problem lies with the flight plan. We must revise Habane's data. As everyone questioned Habane, I sat and considered the factors. Last year, the cloud that Aoi and I flew about appeared approximately 1 kilometre high. But according to the Old Boys Navigation Journal, the morning glory that appeared 27 years ago was at 2 kilometres. We can't fly up to 1 kilometre, can we? Agea rubbed her chin as she thought. 2 kilometres is somewhat low for a cloud. Since we are using a vinch system to fly, we have yet to experience flying at that altitude. If we had a plane, we could do it. Are we able to fly to those heights? Are there thermals? There should be, but I thought about it for a minute. The problem is, should a morning glory form, it would do so around dawn. What does that mean? It means that thermals are few and far between. It takes time for the nighttime air to warm up again. If we leisurely waited until sunrise, I've never pronounced leisurely that way before, why did I do that? We would already be too late. You need sunlight to warm up surface ground. Without the heat from the ground surface, thermals can't be formed. I listened to Habane's explanation with a nod and added a few words. If possible, you'll want to start flying before sunrise while it's still dim. But it'd be hard to find thermals. On the other hand, there are thermals above lake, aren't there? The way heat is transferred is different between land and water. Land easily heats and cools, but with water it's more difficult. During the day, the ground temperature is cooler than over lakes and seas, creating a gentle downdraft. But at night the opposite occurs. The ground cools first, and the air above the not quite cool lake sends air currents upwards. Well, that would probably be difficult. It's different in the middle of the night, but at sunrise is also expected to be chilled. That says it all. Of course, with us, we only have one flying technique. We learned a lot from our mistakes last year. This time we have to create a good flight plan. Up until now, we have talked about it countless times. However, now with the new data, we can come up with something a little more solid. With a sidelong glance, Asa sighed as she opened her mouth. Meaning the likelihood of us not... It said Asa, it's actually Yoru speaking. Meaning the likelihood of us not taking off is high, right? Now's not the time to dodge questions, is it alright? That time was at that time. It's good to have a challenge for next year and the year after. But if the cloud comes this year, it's absolutely impossible to run away from it. I put strong force into my words, to which Kotori and Agea nodded. The two of us cannot forget last year's frustration. And so once again the traditions of the Soaring Club are being handed down from one generation of students to the next. That sounds like Habane. I won't go that far. Well, isn't that nice? It's more than most people can get out of the college student life. Kotori made a firm fist. Like Habane said, we've got one shot. Let's do it. Agea and I, with serious face expressions, nodded in agreement. By the way, who's going to fly? The glider can only hold 2 people. Arsa's innocently asked question popped in all of our heads, but none of us could make the words come out of our mouths. We looked at each other and then at practically at the same time we all gazed at Habane. Me? I'm not flying. Flying 2 kilometres is beyond my imagination and scary. Is that really okay with you, Habane? When the time comes, you might be able to do it. Habane easily shook her head. Yeah, I was sort of wondering. I feel like it's going to be Kotori who flies, since we're on her route. I feel like if we were on Habane's route, then it would probably be her who flies. But the thing is, like, I was reading, apparently, I think it's Habane and Yoru's routes. Actually, you have to complete, I think, other character routes first in order to unlock them. So even if you wanted to, which I think would have been interesting, you can't actually pursue Habane from the go. You have to actually complete, I'm guessing, other routes first. Namely Kotori and Agea's. Habane easily shook her head. I said so, did I not? I told you, I'll help you guys from here, understand? When she says it kind of straight like that, it tends to sound kind of sad, so I butchered that sentence. For the senior students, the glider is a thing of the past. Wait a minute. Shouldn't we think this through? More importantly, right now, how are we going to get the glider up? That's right, for the time being we don't even have a flight plan. Everyone ate while discussing ideas, as the argument became increasingly more heated. The bath is open. I walked into the dining hall as I towel dried my hair. As usual, crowd already came unvent. I usually was the last to take a bath. Today I went in first. Everyone was hanging out at our normal table. So were you. Sis, you're just asking for Dad's attention. Come on, I am not. Absolutely not. Asa is upfront and easy to understand. Did Habane already head home? She said she were full and said to tell you thanks for food. Habane's such a glutton for food. Thanks to everyone, we could all drag her out of her cave, I should say. If that wasn't the case, I would just be a babysitter composing poorly written emails. Woo for gluttons. Want Kotori? I'm guessing she's probably in a room practicing. Is it a simulator? The other day Kotori borrowed Hibari's laptop. She's been using it to practice on the simulator in her room. Unfortunately, people don't see Kotori's hard work as a virtue, nor as they see her as being antisocial and too good. Everyone calls it secret practicing. Should I go get her? Nine, it's cool, we shouldn't bother her. But if it's you, Owie, then... I'm not saying that we shouldn't meet with her at all, just for the time being. Well, it would be nice to see her some. Right, I'm going to go get ready. Are you on watch? I'm thirsty. Well, look who decided to join us. You guys are still here. Did Habane already go home? Yep, she left. I guess it's about time for me to head out too. Take care. If you're looking for Owie, you already left. What? No way at this hour? Somebody's neglecting her boyfriend in favour of a simulator. What else would you expect from a woman who's actually in love with Sky? I wanted to wish him well. Because Owie is, on lookout. Really is a great view of the sky from here. It's a nice shot, with the windows all lit up. While climbing up the slanted surface of Windmill Hill, I gazed at the starry skies that spread along the hill. It was clear today, giving a great view of the stars. On top of that, from Windmill Hills there are a few obstructions to block the view. Last year, the same sheet-covered glider was placed on the runway. From the secret base, the view is better than from the Flying Fish Manor's garden. Where the change in the atmosphere came from, I don't know. You have to catch it within even a second's time. I'm doing the watch alone. However, in this remote location, it isn't safe to have one girl sitting here, so the shift is done in pairs. I drop off and pick them up here, but having even two people here during the night is worrying. Nothing but solar panels on windmills in this sprawling space, as if neither human nor machine no longer touch the land. Inside my pocket, my cell phone chimed. Got a mail. It was from Kotori. I'm sorry I got all self-absorbed in my room. I just want to say good night and take care. It was the kind of mail that makes the heart go fuzzy. I didn't realise it, but it seems that I was lonely. Tomorrow morning I'll get up early and wait for you. Oh wait, this is Kotori again. Tomorrow morning I'll get up early and wait for you. Good night. Huh. Finally a small smile escaped my lips. Who'd have thought something like this is nice? There's ever no words to truly describe it. Reading the mail gave me a strange but relieving feeling. I got a mail from Owie. Thanks for your message. You were working hard on practicing, right? Why is it that practicing is considered impolite behaviour? There's also aviation practice tomorrow, so there's no reason to overdo it. Get some rest. If you go home... Oh wait, this is her, isn't it? Gosh, sometimes it's hard to tell whose lines are whose. If you go home, could you help get breakfast ready? I love you. Good night. Oh wait, no, that was him talking to her. God, I get so confused. They really could do with putting the name of the character on some of these internal thoughts or unspoken bits of dialogue. He said I love you. Good night, Owie. Alright, time to get ready for bed for a bright tomorrow. But before that, I should mail him and tell him I love him too. Oh god. Masatsugu, we've not had you in a while. Gaia! Oh, you came down to the runway? Jeez, you're such a baby, and so is Kumoi. Actually, Hergate has promised here's the inspection. Alone, sorry for making you wait. Take as long as you need to look through it. By the way, where's this glider at? Right now it's in the middle of a practice run, probably high in the sky. Ouch! Rat! Here, use these binoculars. What was the ouch all about? What was that? Thanks, I wonder where it's at. Oh look, down under that long thin cloud. The sun is reflecting on wing. Can you see it? Oh there, the light just reflected. That's it. It's the first time I've seen the glider in flight. It's pretty amazing being that high up. Theoretically it depends on day. Sometimes you can go above clouds. Oh really, it flies great, and there really isn't an engine, right? Actually, who's pilot? Katori. And Aoi. Even though she's flying, she doesn't need to use her legs. Aoi's up there too, teaching her how to fly. I see, huh? Wait, that's dangerous, right? Spinning in circles while falling like that? Wow, what's going on? Uh-oh! Oh, we're in trouble! The glider fell towards this ground, spinning in a corkscrew. As the field of vision spins, and his sense of balance is lost. As he turns his screw to the outer side, you experience G-force. Don't lose your grip on things, deal with the G-force. If you do it like I taught you, you can do it. First, puts the aileron in neutral. Okay. Katori puts the yoke in neutral. Next, rotates the yoke in the opposite direction of the glider's spin. Rotate in opposite direction of the glider. Before I started instructing her, Katori already steered in the direction opposite from the rudder. Immediately, the yoke leaned towards the direction it did before. Try not to let the nose fall too much. The main wings need to take the lifting power back. I hope you can hear me over that, it's quite loud. Okay. Finally, when the nose of the glider fell just right and the wings were able to stream airflow, regular flight was restored. When you placed the rudder in neutral, it was as if nothing at all happened. V flew like normal, that should say, not few. Great recovery. When normality returned, Katori took a look at the outside landscape and sighed deeply in relief. We didn't just almost avoid an accident. I'd intentionally let the glider spin. We'd just been practicing spin recover tactics. We didn't lose practically any altitude. Good flying, Katori. Oh, that really is more flustering than a normal stall. I think you probably want to radio down to Akari and tell her that that was not an accident she just witnessed. That was a deliberate practice. Effort. Drink more water. The stall means that the main wings lose connection with the air currents, creating the phenomenon of losing lifting power. Without lifting power, the glider will fall. However, if you know the right procedures, you can recover from a stall. So for the sake of study, you need to create a stall situation in practice. The most important thing concerning a glider pilot is they have to practice. Just as right now, spin and stall procedures, even in practice, are still quite vicious. A spin is when the body of a plane turns like a screw while falling. In a worst case scenario situation, a weak point in the frame of the body could be lost, forcing the pilot to parachute. Compared to the response time, you dealt with the procedures very precisely. Were you scared? No, not really. I kept the image of recover locked in my mind. I see. During a stall, the pilot becomes confused. While spinning, the pilot experiences the sensation of falling, and it's a pretty scary feeling. It's natural to become flustered, with your only thought being, I gotta get control. However, in that confusion, should the pilot perform the wrong manoeuvre, they could worsen the situation into the most horrible of circumstances. Katori didn't lose confidence or her calm control in this scenario and recovered quickly. She had such a level head for her first recovery. The first time I practiced this manoeuvre, I remember losing my calm pretty quickly. For some reason or another, I was just able to feel it out. Don't get cocky. During stalls and spins, if you forget the fear, your ability to react might be slow. When talking about stalls, there are two types of practice. The first regards how to recover. The second is about teaching the body signs to tell it when it is about to stall or spin. There are several signs. More importantly than reading the meters is understating the feel of flying. In this case, the body is introduced to the feel of G-force. Once experienced, the body will remember the sensation enough to prompt the pilot into taking measures to prevent a stall. The experience of recovery, of course, is also important. Thanks to practices like these, I think Habane and I escaped some harm. At that time, just seeing it will give you chills. There was this extreme downdraft. Here we go, try that again. A year ago, we experienced a strong downdraft. We suddenly lost flight power and fell. We were so absorbed in the moments as it seems the glider fixed itself upright. I think it was due to mastering these skills in practice. Alright, let's find a thermal again and take up to the sky. Alright. To continue practicing recoveries, we had to make a good enough height to fall safely. Actually, I see, so they're doing it intentionally. They're in recovery training. They're doing some pretty dangerous manoeuvres. Don't worry about it. If need be, Owie can take over. Of course, when flying in the sky, there is nothing more dangerous. Those guys aren't coming down. They're going up one more time to do it again, right? Because we don't have much time left. Actually, I wonder what exactly that means. Going to Hamane's predictions, there's a good chance that a morning glory will appear within the next 10 days. A morning glory? A long cylindrical cloud that forms and will span, that should probably say, across the lake. It's our goal to fly with that cloud. Actually, Habane has a picturable cover with the images of that strange cloud. If Kotori's so into flying, then she should be the main pilot. I'll talk with Owie. Who's the pilot should be kept a secret. Firstly, it should be someone who worked very hard, and Kotori certainly did a lot. Actually, that's true, but there's no reason to change out Kotori. She's been enrolled in the Kaifu Academy for quite a while now. Have you known her since beginning? Of course. We were all concerned when we heard about the student with disabled legs. Of course, the person born to become the head at student council. Well, I don't know any students with a bad attitude from within the same class. When we were sophomores, it was like, why even bother? Well, who's coming here? Kotori inside the thermal gradually took the glider higher. They'll be good any time now. I think we can fly a little bit higher. Is it okay? The purpose of today's training was to cover stall recovery, and so there's no reason to fly higher than this. Was if Kotori asked, I couldn't say 9. Sure, let's see how much higher we can go. Being able to catch a thermal to fly higher is important practice after all. Thanks. Kotori flew the glider around the updrafts that the eyes couldn't see. Little by little she brought the glider higher and higher. As this is a place you always wanted to see, right? Cumulonimbus clouds break through the stratosphere, right? They really are big, aren't they? So to be here means that we are also in the stratosphere. You know, I have a question. At what altitude does the air pressure become so different that you would need breathing gear in an aircraft like this? Because this is a pretty small aircraft. I'm assuming its cockpit is meant to be pressurised, hence why they're not using breathing gear. I assume that's why, yeah, like I say, they're not using breathing/oxygen masks. But I feel like, I don't know, can you have an aircraft that small that is pressurised in that way? Because the thing is, like, you think of like fighter jets, for instance, because they're probably not that much, well, I don't know, fighter jets are pretty big. Never mind what I'm saying. We might be able to fly up here, but this is fair we should stop. Inside Cumulonimbus, the air flows in downbursts. Never mind things like thunder. We should keep to safety first. Even jumbo jets will avoid Cumulonimbus clouds if they can. Besides, for us, at these heights, the sky is like an unknown world for us. I would rather stay safe and be able to go home than take the chance of going in briefly without incident. The sky is so high. Beyond the sky, space. Kotori absently muttered space as she gazed out beyond the canopy. From her profile, she looked like a mysterious child. When Habane flew, she kept... I don't know why it keeps using the male pronouns for Habane. Again, must be a weird localization error. When Habane flew, she kept her curiosity hidden behind the shining eyes of a young girl, not boy, but to Kotori gave the impression of just being very young. People usually ask to have childlike feelings. About what you said before. About me when I was gazing at the sky. You said I was really cool. Ah, it's true. Cool, with a sigh. But about you, Kotori, flying into the sky like this. As this is a true Kotori. As this Kotori is surely the true Kotori, it seems. Kotori glanced quickly back at me to ask. The true me? Yeah, I don't know you from long ago, but this you I see? Well, it's a feeling I have. When we fly like this, it warms my heart. It makes me excited. It's strange, but when we fly together, I somehow know more than before that Kotori's my girlfriend. See her face expressions that could only be seen of... sorry, the localization is a bit weird there. I should probably say, seeing her face expressions that could only be seen while flying into the sky, expressions that only I can see. When I say excited, I mean I want to get to know her more. I want to see more. The true me, Kotori muttered while thinking. I'm sorry to bring up such an odd subject during flight. Oh wait, that's Irish, not German. I'm sorry to bring up such an odd subject during flight. Please forget about it. Sure, but only temporarily. Okay, for now that's good. This time take the glider into a spin yourself, and then set her right again. Yes. Alright, let's do it. I instructed Kotori into a spin, and she flew us. After performing so many spin manoeuvres, Kotori became tired, and it was time to land. The body from practice also had the burden of being inspected was necessary. That's an odd phrasing, but I think I get what it's saying. We brought the glider to its final approach towards the runway. Today's the crosswind was strong. Enter the runway with the nose pointing upwards. Understood. Kotori safely, I should say accurately, rather than acutely, or maybe acutely is the right word, landed the glider on the runway. Kotori, Howie, welcome back. I'm home. Man, I'm beat. Kotori, who was transferred to the cockpit seat to her wheelchair, looked completely exhausted. Well, you flew quite a bit. I was also quite tired. Training practice and the constant attention to safety still made me nervous. Actually, welcome home, Kotori. Soon Council President, you came. I saw you flying. You guys were living your dream. I understand your feelings for flight. Thank you. On the ground for who knows how long, Kumoi and Matsusugu waited. We were at about 800 metres. Perhaps Miss Kumoi might like also to try having a ride. Actually, well, before that, Miss Kumoi for some reason had an unpleasant expression on her face. A gear stuck out her head from behind. Kotori, could I talk to you for a minute? Uh-oh. Is drama about to occur? Something bad about to happen here? Some twist? Some spanner in the works? Well, let's find out. What is it? A gear? Kotori looked behind Agea's shoulder and was surprised to see another person standing there. But she was dumbfounded when she recognised who it was. Who? My first thought was, is it her father? But... oh. Okay, Hibari. Right, Hibari. Hibari stared at Kotori's look of disbelief. Her face turned pale and her knees began to quiver. First I thought she was angry, but she quickly regained her composure. It was Hibari that was shaking in anger. Kotori. She called Kotori's name with a quivering voice as she drew closer towards Kotori. What are you doing here with this? It's not what you think, Hibari. This is... The explanation that Kotori wanted to give wouldn't come out. You were flying in that thing. Please, Hibari, calm down. Just listen to what I have to say. Whoop. Oh my. Okay, I have a feeling I might be able to predict where this is going. Does the Habane family have some aversion to flying? And they don't want Kotori flying? Are they going to try and forbid her from doing so? The sharp sound echoed. The people nearby immediately shrugged at the sound. It was the sound of Kotori's sister's hand striking Kotori across the face. Sister, did you forget about those legs of yours? Hibari's tears mixed with her anguished cry. Her knees trembled, and she shook so much that she might physically collapse. It wasn't anger, but fear. Don't forget, but this isn't a balloon, it's a glider which we made. Same difference. If Mum and Dad knew, it wouldn't change anything. What? Wait, stop a minute. If Dad knew... I don't even know what Dad would do if he found out what you've been hiding. I'm sorry, but... tell it to Dad. Oh, wow, is he here? Hibari wouldn't hear another word, and with a cold voice said, and turned her back on Kotori and walked away. Wait, Hibari. Kotori tried to chase after Hibari, but Hibari left too quickly. Hibari? Kotori watched Hibari's back disappear behind a wall full of eyes full of tears. Sorry, couldn't quite read that for a moment then. Just looking at time, it is getting close to lunchtime, as of when I record this. So I'm getting kind of hungry, and I've probably been recording for about an hour there. I wonder if that's probably good for an episode. Let's keep going for a couple of minutes. With the finishing operations done, we headed back to the office. Where's Katori? She just went home. For the time being, we should try to keep it down. Yeah, we should. What was that at... Oh, wrong voice. What was that at the end? No, Scouse. I'm from Liverpool. What was that at the end? And as the mood changed, everyone silently finished the last procedures of the day. While everyone gathered at the office, I headed up to Katori's dorm room. Katori's legs got that way in an accident that involved a hot air balloon crashing on its way to its destination. The trip was offered through a service that offered sightseeing packages. Katori was riding in the balloon with her mother, and it crashed. Everyone seemed to have only minor injuries. Everyone except Katori. Okay, we're finally finding out where her disability came from. So Hibari's behaviour wasn't entirely out of the blue. I'm sure that Hibari was remembering the accident as she stood there trembling. At the time of the hot balloon accident, Hibari and her father were standing close enough to see it happen. Hibari undoubtedly saw Katori getting out as a glider, and it probably brought back memories. Katori was hiding the fact that she was flying from Hibari. I'm guessing that she didn't want to worry anyone. So she has that kind of history. I guess it seems was for to secrecy. Hibari knew that Katori was in the soaring club, but she probably assumes that Katori was helping to service the glider or some such things. I don't know about those circumstances very well. Many parents who saw their daughter in a glider like that will be worried, right? It was when Hibari saw Katori being helped out of the cockpit that she went ghostly white. You're right, it were after that. I don't know for now. Let's try and talk with Katori later. That, and we can try and contact Hibari. I still can't believe that Hibari slapped Katori. She was that angry. I feel bad for my sister. I only think of myself, even over my kind sister. But I want to fly. But I don't want to make my sister and my mother and father worry, so I want to fly at any cost. Well, we probably know how this will go, right? If it gets to the end. It'll end with her family sort of accepting it and being proud of her. That's always how it goes in these kind of stories, unless suddenly there's going to be some twist. But is it that kind of game? I don't know. I want to fly at any cost. So what should I do? Tell me, Hat. Why do I want to fly so much? Sorry about today. You came in at a bad time. 9. I'm sorry for intruding. I understand your concerns. On my way home, I called Hibari to try and explain the situation. Vi Katori decided to join the soaring club. What kind of activities the soaring club participated in, without hiding anything. Thanks to being in the club, Katori has become cheerful. Yeah, I agree. But I heard about the situation from Katori. She's really stressing about you, Hibari. Thanks to you, she's been really down. Oh, wow, just hit her with that. Thanks to you, she's been depressed. She said when she calmed down, she'd try and call you. Thank you, Aoi. I'll send her a mail too. Today got a little emotional, and we didn't get to talk through it properly. Yeah, please talk to her. After I got off the phone, I sighed. From where I stood, I could see Katori's bedroom window, but the light was off. She's probably exhausted from crying and fell asleep. Welcome home. Danke. Katori stood at the entranceway playing with Hat. She wore a mask that smiled, undoubtedly trying to be brave. Man, I'm starving. Do you want to grab a quick bite? Do you have a twin? I want to get some ramen today, so I said I think I'll go out to eat. Ramen sounds good. She was really considerate of my feelings. Katori promptly went to the refrigerator and began pulling out the ingredients for dinner. Today we had hash rice. The beef has to thaw. Let's see, mushrooms. Are you okay? Well, I suppose I'm not exactly alright, but... Right. I know Katori's trying to come across as happy, but somehow there was a crack in her mask of pleasantries. Hibari calmed down enough to try and talk. I wanted to apologise for keeping everything from her, but I have to keep this a secret from my parents, to keep them from being worried. Katori shakes her head. If my father knew, he would make me move back into our house, and so I didn't say anything yet. But Hibari said she called my dad... No. Wait, called my dad? I should probably be Kotori, not Aoi. He plans on asking me to quit. With a fixed deadline, the end of summer break. If that's the case, I need to talk to him myself. Maybe if my father and mother both say it's time to stop flying the glider, then I'll have to call it quits. Meaning this summer I'll retire, just like Habane did last year. Kotori. And so, Aoi... I got it. I got your back. Thanks, Aoi. Kotori, who smiled as she thanked me, despite the large tears that had formed in her eyes, and were ready to spill. What's all that about? I was just crying. Kotori, with both hands, back to raise her tears. It's such a relief to know that I have you as my supporter. You don't have to say it like that. I leaned over to Kotori nearby me and hugged her gently. Oh god, there! The emotions are running high. Kotori buried her face in my shoulder and sobbed. This was the first time I have ever been a jerk to my sister. I was so surprised. Hibari has always been kind. Yeah, something like that. Kind. I'm surrounded by kind people. Lots of them. Higu. What does that mean? And yet I'm so self-centered. I pet Kotori's hair and said nothing as she cried herself out. Well, there's a chapter transition there, which is probably now a good time to wrap this episode up. End it on that note. Okay, so it's definitely going to be a bit more drama, I think, before we get to the culmination of the game. So basically, I guess her dad has given her this deadline, that by the end of summer she is to call it quits. So we have to hope that the Morning Glory, I guess, shows up before then, right? Okay, well, we'll find out how this plays out in due course. So join me for the next episode, ladies and gentlemen, where we'll continue on. In the meantime, my social media links, Propagandist channel link are down in the video description. Leave a like if you enjoyed. I've got to go and get some lunch now because I'm getting hungry. Goodbye, everybody. That's pretty good. Right. Okay, let's get into the building and take on the boss. We've got 6 brick walls as well, so we should be able to get in there. No? Speaking of Hachime, I told you it would be a thing with him. You probably already guessed, but it's my first time going to the sea with friends. Yeah. I think a lot of the fangirls are having their ovaries explode at this moment. Just saying. I guess it is, huh? Does that mean I have anything to do with good or bad luck? No. No, it's... No. Something you'd be more interested in, specifically beach activities, because you're a pirate and all. You want to go bury some treasure with me? I know about them, I've just never actually taken part before.